In just 10 minutes, get the most powerful insights from a 3-hour deep dive with Dr. Gabrielle Lyon on The Shawn Ryan Show, aired on February 25th, 2025. From the surprising truth about nicotine to the real formula for living to 100, this summary cuts through the noise and delivers science-backed health advice you can use today. Stay till the end. You won't want to miss this. Here are the key takeaways from the podcast. Takeaway 1. The nicotine paradox. Nicotine is often seen as harmful, but the truth is more complicated. While smoking is undeniably dangerous, nicotine itself has some surprising benefits. It is a natural stimulant that improves cognitive function, focus, and memory. Some research even suggests it may have protective effects against Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease. However, it is also highly addictive and can raise blood pressure, cause gum recession, and damage blood vessels over time. The biggest issue is how quickly people develop a dependency on it. Many users start with occasional nicotine pouches or gum, thinking they will use it casually, only to find themselves reaching for it daily. Because nicotine enhances dopamine release, it can create a cycle of craving and reward, making it difficult to quit once it becomes a habit. For example, Dr. Lyon shared that during her research in geriatrics, she came across studies showing nicotine might help with cognitive decline. But she also warned that just because something has benefits does not mean it is risk-free. Using nicotine responsibly, if at all, is key. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 2. The aging conspiracy is real. For decades, official dietary guidelines have promoted low-fat diets and plant-based eating, but many of these recommendations were never based on solid science. Corporate interests play a major role in what gets labeled as healthy, while outdated research continues to influence public policy. Government regulations also prevent certain industries from defending their products. While processed food companies spend billions marketing their products, the meat and dairy industries are restricted in what they can claim about nutrition. This has led to mass confusion about what is truly good for our health. For example, red meat has been demonized for years, but in 2015, dietary guidelines quietly removed cholesterol as a nutrient of concern. Meanwhile, ultra-processed fake meats are aggressively marketed as better for the environment, without real proof. The public is left wondering what to believe, but Dr. Lyon emphasizes that the key to aging well is focusing on whole, nutrient-dense foods, rather than following trends driven by profit. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 3. Strong muscles mean a longer life. Muscle mass is one of the best predictors of longevity. As people age, they naturally lose muscle unless they actively work to maintain it. A loss of muscle leads to weakness, poor balance, and a higher risk of falls, which can have devastating consequences. Having strong muscles protects against diseases like diabetes, heart disease, and even some types of cancer. Strength training is essential for maintaining independence in later years. It is not just about lifting heavy weights. It is about keeping the body functional and resilient. Even basic resistance exercises can help improve bone density, metabolism, and overall health. For example, Dr. Lyon has treated many elderly patients who lost their ability to walk after a simple injury like a broken hip. Many of these cases could have been prevented if they had maintained their muscle strength through consistent resistance training. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 4. The blue zone myth. The so-called blue zones, where people live exceptionally long lives, are often used as proof that plant-based diets and stress-free lifestyles are the secret to longevity. However, the truth behind these regions is much more complex. Many of them have unreliable birth records, high smoking rates, and significant poverty, which are not exactly indicators of perfect health. The real factors that contribute to longevity in these areas are strong social connections, daily physical activity, and whole food diets, not necessarily the specific foods they eat. Many of the people in blue zones also do manual labor well into old age, which keeps their bodies strong. For example, Okinawa is often cited as a plant-based paradise, but historically, its people consumed a lot of pork and seafood. Meanwhile, rural communities in China with similar longevity stats eat completely different foods. The lesson here is that there is no one-size-fits-all diet for a long life. What matters most is staying active, eating nutrient-dense foods, and maintaining strong relationships. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 5. Forget weight loss. Focus on muscle. Many people focus too much on weight loss and not enough on body composition. The real issue is not just excess fat. It is a lack of healthy muscle. Muscle is an active tissue that helps regulate metabolism, balance hormones, and prevent insulin resistance. When people lose weight without building muscle, they often become weaker and more prone to health problems. This is why extreme dieting or focusing only on cardio can backfire in the long run. Instead, a combination of high-protein nutrition and strength training is the best approach. For example, people who follow crash diets may lose weight quickly, but they often end up looking frail instead of fit. In contrast, those who prioritize muscle building end up with stronger, more resilient bodies that can handle the challenges of aging. We're halfway through the video. Thank you for sticking with us this far. If you're enjoying it, please give us a thumbs up and share it in your WhatsApp groups. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so feel free to comment below. To see more videos like this, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Now let's continue with the video. Takeaway 6. Sleep is non-negotiable. Sleep deprivation has massive consequences, from cognitive decline to hormonal imbalances. While some genetic outliers function well on 4 hours of sleep, most people need 7 to 8 hours to stay sharp and healthy. For example, Dr. Lyon mentions that elite military operators often self-select for high resilience to sleep deprivation. But for the rest of us, sacrificing sleep is a fast track to accelerated aging and poor health. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 7. Whole foods are better than supplements. Many people turn to supplements because modern farming practices have reduced the nutrient density of food. While supplementation can help, whole foods remain the best source of essential vitamins and minerals. For example, liver is one of the most nutrient-dense foods available, packed with iron, vitamin A, and B vitamins. Instead of relying on synthetic supplements, eating a variety of whole foods provides a more natural and effective approach to nutrition. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 8. Gut health determines overall health. Your body is only as healthy as what it absorbs. Even if you eat well, poor gut health can prevent you from getting the nutrients you need. Common issues like malabsorption, H. pylori infections, and food intolerances can silently sabotage your health. For example, symptoms like itchy skin, bloating, or fatigue can sometimes be linked to gut imbalances rather than external factors. Addressing these issues through proper diet and testing can make a significant difference in overall well-being. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 9. Strength training beats cardio for longevity. While aerobic exercise is beneficial, strength training has a more direct impact on longevity. Lifting weights increases bone density, improves joint health, and prevents injuries that can lead to long-term disability. For example, marathon runners may have great endurance, but they often suffer from joint problems due to repetitive stress. Meanwhile, individuals who focus on weightlifting tend to maintain functional strength well into old age. Now let's move to the last takeaway. Takeaway 10. The real formula for living to 100. Reaching 100 years old is not just about genetics. It is about stacking the right habits over a lifetime. The most important factors for longevity are muscle strength, whole foods, sleep, meaningful relationships, and avoiding chronic disease. Modern medicine also provides tools to detect and prevent major health issues before they become life-threatening. For example, Dr. Lyon emphasizes that maintaining muscle mass is one of the strongest predictors of a long life. A 90-year-old who lifts weights and stays active is more likely to reach 100 than a frail person who simply eats well. Preventative health care, regular screenings, and an active lifestyle all contribute to longevity. Here is a brief introduction about Dr. Gabrielle Lyon. Dr. Gabrielle Lyon is a board-certified family physician and founder of the Institute of Muscle-Centric Medicine, emphasizing skeletal muscle for health and longevity. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this summary of the Shawn Ryan Show podcast with Dr. Gabrielle Lyon informative. If you're interested in learning more about these topics, I encourage you to watch the full podcast on YouTube by clicking on the link in the description below. If you enjoyed watching this video, please leave a like below and share this video in your WhatsApp groups. You can also discuss about this video by commenting below. To get more such videos in your timeline, press the subscribe button below.